What's going on? It's your boy Bowie here. And this video is about the leaked information that development for Mortal Kombat 1 has come to an end. By now, I'm pretty sure you have heard about the leaks, and I can't remember the leaker's name, but he's supposedly very reputable. Allegedly hasn't been wrong about anything concerning Mortal Kombat 1 so far. And he put it out there that Kombat Pack 3 development for that DLC is pretty much over with now. It's been canceled, as a matter of fact. Not over. It's canceled. And so Mortal Kombat 1 is going to basically release the rest of the Chaos Reigns DLC. And then after that DLC, the game's not going to be developed no further. And obviously this is big news, huge news, you know, because this is Mortal Kombat we're talking about. The biggest fighting game in the world, you know, one of the most profitable fighting games ever, if not the most. Only second to Super Smash Brothers. You know, I think Smash Brothers may have sold more copies than MK, but Smash Brothers don't have a movie or comics or nothing like that as far as I know of. But anyway, the point of the matter is, the discourse surrounding this has been excruciatingly disappointing. And I say that because what I've been noticing is that you have all these people that they found something that they didn't like about MK1 from the very get-go. And so any incidental bad thing that happens surrounding MK1, they use that to validate their dislike for the game. Or they'll say that the things that they dislike about the game are the reason for the bad things that happened. And so, for instance, you got people talking about Mortal Kombat released in a trash state and it didn't have no content and it had these damn cameos and, you know, Sector and Cyrax are women and blah, 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 blah. And so they're going that fucking, you know, lowbrow ass route of using the things that they don't like as reasons, somehow legitimate reasons for why bad things are happening in this game. And I'm hoping that none of you have fallen for that particular trap, because I'm here to tell you it's not true. I'm here to tell you that if the rumors are indeed true, and NetherRealm Studios is no longer going to be supporting Mortal Kombat 1 after the last DLC of Kombat Reigns is released, it's because of WB. You know, the corporation that owns the Mortal Kombat IP. You know, the mother corporation that NetherRealm Studios is under. They're the reason for this, not the game. And let me explain. So, we know, well, most of us know, that Warner Brothers, the corporation, bought the rights to Mortal Kombat all the way back in 2000. I don't even fucking know when they bought those rights. Probably in 2010, 2011, somewhere thereabouts. Before the release of Mortal Kombat 9, basically, is when they bought those rights. And so that's how NetherRealm Studios was born, because Midway was going into bankruptcy. Midway was the company that made Mortal Kombat before NRS. It's the same people, but they rebranded themselves NetherRealm Studios after they were purchased by WB. And so, Midway, the last Midway title that they made, the last Mortal Kombat title Midway made was Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. And that was a relatively low point in Mortal Kombat history, because here you have technically a non-canon but canonical Mortal Kombat that half the roster didn't even consist of Mortal Kombat characters. The game's identity was severely neutered because there was virtually no gore. You know what I'm saying? The game couldn't decide whether it was a 2D or 3D fighter and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, the game was in a very, very sorry state in a lot of ways. Though I will admit, MK vs. DC actually added a lot to the Mortal Kombat franchise, looking back on it now, but that's neither here nor there. But the point is, that was the last Midway title. Then the next title was Mortal Kombat 9 under the NetherRealm Studios umbrella. And I cannot overstate how well received Mortal Kombat 9 was. Mortal Kombat 9 was everything that a Mortal Kombat fan could want out of an MK game. And to this day, it remains my very favorite Mortal Kombat title. It was a love letter to the fans. Gameplay, roster, music, gameplay. You know, not to mention, this was the title that made Mortal Kombat competitive in tournaments. Now, some people will also add that, you know, the women being scantily clad was a plus as well. I fully disagree with that, because that was never what Mortal Kombat was about. Mortal Kombat didn't start becoming sexy until Deception, and even then, it was only a couple of the female characters that was like that. But, you know, point is, that game was very well received. And honestly, WB seemed to be much more gung-ho about Mortal Kombat. I would argue that composition of people at Warner Brothers seemed to care quite a bit about Mortal Kombat, or at least be willing to support it, right? And that was even true up through the MKX years, because, you know, Mortal Kombat got a lot of money thrown towards it, you know what I'm saying, during the MKX days. But once MK11 started coming around, there was a shift. There was a shift. For one, the microtransactions had gotten fucking wild. You know what I'm saying? This marks the first time that I can remember seeing advertisements for one game inside of another game. Because that would happen. In Mortal Kombat 11, there'd be advertisements for you to buy other WB games and shit. And I don't remember if it was during the life of MK11 or thereafter, but I definitely remember picking up Mortal Kombat 11 and seeing ads for Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 1 DLC, seeing ads for damn Hogwarts Legacy in Mortal Kombat 1. Or, I'm sorry, inside Mortal Kombat 11, actually. And that's like, that's not an NRS decision. That's a WB decision. NRS has nothing to do with Hogwarts Legacy. And Mortal Kombat has never had to really advertise directly about other Mortal Kombat games inside their own games before. Mortal Kombat sells itself. They don't have to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? But WB underwent a bunch of corporate changes during the Mortal Kombat 11 years. You know, they got rid of a lot of their staff. I think they changed leadership as well. And I don't know if y'all understand what happens when corporations change leadership. But what happens is when you have new management come into a place, the first thing they do is they get rid of the old shit. So if you had some new hires that got hired under the old regime, them people are some of the first ones on the chopping block to be dismissed. And it even works like that for music. There's been so many artists that have been signed to major record labels and whatnot. They signed in under a particular A&R of a particular record label, and their first couple albums got a lot of support, got a lot of marketing and all that kind of stuff. They got the best of the best producers and all this. But then that record label changes management, or that A&R is gone. You know, the team that was enthusiastic about that particular artist is no longer at that record label. And now suddenly that same artist that used to get a lot of budgeting for their music videos and all that stuff, now that artist can't get nothing. Now they're getting the dregs. You know what I'm saying? Now suddenly that artist can't get no kind of support similar to what they used to get. And before you know it, that artist leaves the label and their career, you know, goes in a different direction. This has happened to countless artists in the industry, in the music industry. And it's the same story with Mortal Kombat right now. See, the state of how Mortal Kombat 1 released, or the fact that it had cameos, is not even close to the reason why it's suffering. It's because the people at WB now only see Mortal Kombat as a cash machine. That's the way that they see Mortal Kombat. And it's like that for a good reason, because WB's under a lot of debt right now. They just canceled so many of their games. They canceled so much of the stuff that they were going to come out with because they had to do a whole ass, what do you call those things? Audits. Yeah, they had to do a whole audit and figure out, okay, what's profitable and what's not. And Mortal Kombat and Hogwarts Legacy were the only two things, IPs, that they had that were considered profitable. You don't believe me? Look at the way that Multiverses turned out. You don't believe me? Look at the way that Gotham Knights turned out. Am I bullshitting? What about that Suicide Squad game? How did that turn out? All that shit is WB. All of that shit is WB. If I'm not mistaken, Cyberpunk is under that umbrella as well, but I forget. I don't want to just throw them in there in case I've mixed some stuff up. But the point of what I'm saying is you have all these other WB IPs that they've been subject to bullshit ass treatment as well. They've been canceled. They've been put out in rush dates. They've been released with a lot of missing content. They've released in piss poor states, very similar to how MK1 started out. And then the difference between the two is that, MK1 is still around and these other IPs are not. Very interesting, right? So, what am I getting at? NRS has nothing to do with multiverses. It has nothing to do with Gotham Knights or anything of that nature. That's all WB. That's all WB. And WB, for instance, is the reason why we've been getting so many fucking microtransactions in Mortal Kombat 1. They're the reasons why the Chaos Reigns DLC was priced so goddamn high. Because they're bleeding money and they're trying to, you know, close the wound any kind of way that they can. That's the reason why. But a lot of you are like mistakenly blaming NRS and saying, oh, NRS is so trash. They always do this, blah, 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 blah. I hate NRS. And some of y'all are vectoring your hate in the wrong direction. I mean, I'm not even mad that you're displeased. But if you're going to be displeased, blame the right motherfuckers. That's all the hell I'm saying. If you're going to be mad at the right people. Make sure you know who it is who's actually fucking you over. It's just like when people get mad at, you know, quote unquote illegal immigrants for quote unquote taking people's jobs. Didn't nobody take your job, bruh. That job didn't belong to you. That company gave your job to someone that they can pay less labor for. That company don't want to pay you $25 an hour when they can pay somebody else $5 an hour. The company was greedy. And their greed is what took your job, not that quote unquote illegal immigrant. So while you sitting up here being mad at people for coming into this country and pretty much being amazing citizens and not hurting nobody, for the overwhelming majority of them, what you really need to be mad at is the fucking corporations that are screwing you over. And that's exactly what's happening here. Y'all are mad at the damn company. You're mad at the damn game for not, you know, fitting your sensibilities. It's not the game, stupid. It's the corporation. Some of you have had a lot of temerity to like try to compare Mortal Kombat to Street Fighter and Tekken and try to say that Mortal Kombat, something's wrong with Mortal Kombat and everything's all perfect with Street Fighter and Tekken. Namco is behind Tekken. Namco is dedicated to Tekken. They don't just work on Tekken, but Tekken is their bread and butter. That's their baby. Capcom, same thing. Capcom is dedicated to Street Fighter. Street Fighter's not the only thing that they work on, but Capcom is dedicated to Street Fighter. You see what I'm saying? NRS Studios is not what Namco and Capcom are. Namco and Capcom are basically similar to WB, except WB makes a hell of a lot more than just games. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at is this. The future of Mortal Kombat is in jeopardy so long as WB owns the IP. We need to try to find a way to help NRS buy their own IP back. Or something. The Mortal Kombat IP is not safe under WB. And it's not just WB. Any big multi-trillion-dollar corporation is going to be a clear and present danger to the Mortal Kombat franchise. And I just need y'all to understand that. I need y'all to understand that. Because some of y'all are out here, like I say, blaming NRS, when really it's WB that you need to be worried about. And sure, WB could sell Mortal Kombat to somebody else But that's not going to fix the problem. All it does is it kicks the can down the curb and give the same problem to a different corporation. Or it gives another corporation the opportunity to do malfeasance as well, which we don't need that. Like, imagine if WB sold that shit to EA. Would you want EA developing Mortal Kombat? Fuck no, you wouldn't. You would not. Would you want the 2K franchise being behind the development of the next Mortal Kombat? I promise you, you wouldn't. So it's not NRS. It's WB. It's WB. It's always been WB. During the MK9 and MKX days, WB was cooperative. WB was supportive. They seemed to be fans of Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? They seem to be that way. That is no longer the case. WB is now an op. It is now an opponent of ours. And we need to keep our eyes on the goddamn ball instead of directing our hate and vitriol, you know, for all things MK1 related to the game. The game is not the cause of this. WB is. That's what I wanted to make sure I got out to y'all. So with that being said, I'll catch y'all later. 1.